Hello, my friends. This is Dr. Jeannie Barrow. Today, I was approached by my team who said, Ginny, you need to record more training videos. We're running out. The last few weeks, I have been feverishly preparing for my Women's Fearless Leaders Challenge, which concluded last week. And I have been really burning the candle on both ends, as they say, trying to ensure that I created content that was compelling, engaging, that gave my audience the most value, as I usually like to, and to leave them inspired to take action and take themselves to the next level, and to do it in a way that feels authentic to them, with a realistic perspective about the skill set gaps they have, as well as a clear leadership vision. And I believe we accomplish our mission. And so I am celebrating that today as I start this training. And as I think about topics that would be relevant based on what I experienced during that training, one of the topics that keeps coming up is how busy we are as women, and how many times that becomes the obstacle, the huge boulder that gets in the way of us doing anything that has to do with our development, especially our leadership development, and engaging in a training like the Fearless Leadership Mastermind, where you would spend an entire 12 months developing and building critical leadership skills. So how do we handle this topic of, I am so busy, Ginny, there is no time? And how do we handle the multitasking that we tend to do when we do attend the training, and that prevents us from getting the most from that training? I'm going to share a story with you about how my members in the Fearless Leadership Mastermind are able to accomplish not being distracted by all the little gadgets that we have and the applications that are running on our phones and on our computers, and instead get to focus their energy, their attention, to bring their presence to the training every other week when we meet for a Fearless Leadership Mastermind, and how they make time. So these are the strategies and the structure that we have created that have supported them. And as I share them with you, I hope and encourage you to consider implementing these to support you in your goals, in achieving your leadership vision by creating this type of structure. So the number one thing that we do is create a structure of discipline. And the way we do it, and the way you can do it, is by not being lackadaisical about when you are developing yourself, when it's happening, how you're doing it, but rather that you become very clear on the very specific days of the week that you are going to be engaging in those activities that will help you continue to develop your skills. In the Fearless Leadership Mastermind, we do it by meeting every other week for 1 hour. Specifically, we target that time frame to get together, and that's when we are going through our training. The other way they do it is they have 14 and a half hours to consume of leadership training videos, engaging, reflective leadership training videos. And I encourage them to schedule in their calendars when they're going to do their own training. This is happening on their own time, 24/7. They have access to the online training. They can watch the videos anytime. And during our masterminds every other week, we get to discuss the topics that are being covered for those different 7 modules. And so how are you going to create a structure that supports you in going after that certification, learning a new skill that you know you have to develop? Now that AI is the rave, all of us need to be asking ourselves, how can I leverage artificial intelligence to do my job faster, better? And if we're not asking ourselves that question, we're soon going to be spinning our wheels going, what am I going to do when someone else is going to tell me that I'm going to be replaced, because now we have an AI functionality that will take over my role. It is our responsibility as leaders. I always say it always starts with us to understand how AI is going to impact our field specifically our jobs and our roles? And how can you learn to leverage the technology to do what you do faster, better? So you can focus on higher level activities that AI cannot handle. That's how we're going to survive this next wave, this next generation of technology that is right in front of us. And so when you carve out the time to say, I am going to learn this about AI, I'm going to learn this about something new that came out in my industry, whatever that may be for you in your field, you are being intentional about your personal and professional development. You are creating the structure that supports you by giving yourself the times and the days when you're going to do it, with flexibility, of course, especially during the summer or during the time of the year that you're going through. You may need more flexibility. However, being very realistic and honest with yourself about whether or not you are carving out the time. I've noticed that whenever I or my members are very lackadaisical about it, it doesn't happen and they fall behind. And before you know it, they are struggling to catch up, and they do catch up. However, it's a crunchy experience that we really don't have to go through if we are more thoughtful. So I'm inviting you to be more thoughtful in your methodology, in your process of learning. So that's the discipline part. How about the time part? How do I carve out the time? How do I make more time? How do I focus when I actually do carve out the time? The focus part comes from being mindful, being present. I have a friend, Cindy, who said to me the other day, who she learned it from someone else, that said, be where your feet are. Be where your feet are. Be mindful, be present. So what does that mean when you are actually doing the activity, the learning, such as what my members do every other week? We turn everything else off, especially me as the facilitator, right? And my facilitators, we turn off our phones. We go to do not disturb and make sure that our phones are on do not disturb. We close the email, because if we are focusing on each other on the Zoom session and there's an email open in my second PC, what's going to happen when I get a notification that I got a new email? I'm going to be inclined to want to see what it is. And I'm going to be distracted. I'm going to be here and there. And then something else is happening over there. And someone's asking me a question over here. So it's going to take discipline from your end to start behaving differently. The number one step is to notice, what am I doing? How am I showing up to meetings? How am I showing up to online meetings? How am I present during those meetings? What else am I paying attention to when I'm attending those meetings, whether virtual or live? And sometimes when it's a live meeting, we are forced to be there physically, but in our minds, we're not present. We're thinking about the meeting that's coming after this one, or the project that needs following up with, or the person that you're going to have a conversation with. In the meantime, you're not doing any of it at that moment. The only thing that is happening is that you're distracting yourself from active listening, from being present, and from being able to respond to the conversations that are happening right in front of you. So if you look distracted, if people notice that you're checked out, most likely is because you are. And so I'm inviting you. I know that it's not easy. I know that this isn't something that you're doing on purpose or because you're a bad person. I know that. What I am asking and inviting you to explore is, going forward, what am I willing to do to be more present? Am I willing to turn off my phone or just put it in silence? Am I willing to close my email when I'm having a meeting here and close my second PC? Am I willing to be where my feet are? And if you say, yes, I am willing, I guarantee you that you will start doing it. If you ask yourself the questions and you are not willing to answer, my friends, that is your answer, that you're not willing to commit to being present. You're not willing to give others the gift of your presence and to focus in that moment. So what happens when we don't focus? What is the disadvantage or the downside. It's that it becomes part of our personal brand. I know people think that my personal brand is only the positive things about me, but anybody who's heard me speak about personal branding knows that my simple explanation of what is a personal brand is what people say about you when you leave the room. And it's not only the great things that they say about you, it's also those qualities that you have that you could improve upon, such as being distracted. One of the leadership qualities that most people dislike from their managers is when they go speak with their managers for their regular check-in and their manager is doing 5 other things. So that means they're not active listening, they're not engaged, yet we are pretending that we are present when we're not. So my partner and I were having a conversation and he and I agree that we are pretending that we are multitasking. And in reality, we're not multitasking. We are context switching rapidly, right? We cannot do multiple things at once. We can only do many things around the same time and jump from one to the next. So we are kidding ourselves when we say that we are multitasking. So here's my professional way and technical way of saying, stop pretending you're multitasking. And that is, stop half-assing it. Okay, that is my call for you in this training. Stop half-assing it. Show up 100%. We're adults here, by the way. So I'm using adult language on purpose to jolt your nervous system. When we bring our presence, you will boost your personal brand. Your employee, when he or she or they sit in front of you, they will see that you are fully present with them. They have your full attention, which shows respect. It shows you value them. And it shows that you are ready to listen and contribute to them to the best of your ability. When you multitask, you may think you feel good because you're being productive, and your personal brand is getting dinged, is getting tarnished, and people leave with a bad taste in their mouth because of the experience they had while they were engaging with you. So what if you were to consider the value of actually being present and consider, how do you like it when you go to speak with someone and they give you the full presence? Isn't that amazing? I know I love it when I'm having an engaged conversation with someone and I know they're listening on all levels. And that's my job, right, as a coach, to listen on all levels. So I have to be fully present in order to coach my clients and support them to the best of my ability. And so I've said a lot today, I know, and I want to encourage you to create the structure that is going to support you in your development, in reaching your next level, in achieving your full potential. It's not going to happen by accident. We have to be very intentional about it. You can have fun with it, by the way. You can use different colors on your calendar. You can name your activities of learning, fun names. Whatever it is that you need to do to make it more entertaining for yourself, go for it. You don't have to be all serious and buttoned up about it. And don't forget, when you are engaging with people, to bring your full focus, to turn off things around you so that you're not distracted. Some of us are more easily distracted than others. I get that. And we can change those behaviors if we're willing. So how willing are you to take me on? If you enjoy this training, you can join my YouTube channel at Dr. Jeannie Barrow or Executive Bound, and you can get tons of these videos, which I publish regularly. You can also join me on my Visionary Leader Circle podcast, which is where I publish most of my training videos into the podcast. And you can also go to executivebound.com and check out our future events under executivebound.com/events. And I typically would post upcoming training, usually free, and I would love to support you in any way that I can. So to do that, you can always reach me at callwithjeannie.com. Live with purpose, live with joy.